Outstanding. Welcome, parents, guardians, and students to the Chapel Hill-Chauncy Hall School commencement for the class of 2017. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful day. I'd like to introduce some special guests that are with us. Commencement speaker, Dr. Rick Weissbourd. Board Chair, B.J. Rudman. A very long, dedicated list of trustees, including Margaret Allen, Rhonda Bentley-Lewis, Chuck Black, Ben Geese, Babu Krishnamurthy, Suzanne Looney, Ray Luo, Tom Muldahill, Michelle Wong. Special guest, former head of school, Don Grace. I would also like to thank members of the class of 2018 for their assistance in this morning's ceremony. Our two junior marshals, Leah Kostick and Ethan Snow. And our ushers, Noah Carton, Nathan Morvai, Amy Russell, and Bella Swanson. I am honored to introduce today's commencement speaker, Dr. Rick Weissbourd. Dr. Weissbourd is the faculty director of the Human Development and Psychology program at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. He's also a senior lecturer at both HGSE and Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. His research focuses on children's moral development, on vulnerability and resilience in childhood, the achievement gap, and on effective schools and services for children. He is also the faculty director for HGSE's Making Caring Common project, a national effort to make moral and social development priorities in child raising and to provide strategies to educators, parents, and communities in raising children who are caring, responsible to their communities, and committed to justice. Dr. Weissbourd is the author of one of my wife's all-time favorite books, The Parents We Mean to Be: How Well-Intentioned Adults Undermine the Moral and Emotional Development of Children. As well as The Vulnerable Child, What Really Hurts America's Children and What We Can Do About It. His writings have appeared in the New York Times, Forbes, Slate, the Boston Globe, and the New Republic, as well as various other online media outlets. In 2014, Dr. Weissbourd visited our campus to deliver a talk, Preparing Young People for Mature, Ethical, Romantic Relationships. That happened during our second Wednesday's lecture series, soon after we opened the CHCH Commons on the other side of the hill. Please join me in welcoming this year's remarkable educator and commencement speaker and longtime friend of the school, Dr. Rick Weissbourd.
Good morning. It's great to see you all. And just let me give you another round of applause. Great. Congratulations. I want to start with a big thanks to Lance and to Josh for this wonderful invitation. It is a tremendous honor to be here. And again, a huge congratulations to you and to your parents. I know this is a big moment for you as well. Before starting, I wanted to say a few words about how impressive you all are, the graduates of this school, and how impressive this school is. I've actually been coming to this school for the last 20 years ago or so. Every Saturday I played basketball, and I played with a lot of Chapel Hill-Chauncy Hall students over the last 20 years. And I recently had an experience that made me especially appreciate you. I was playing pickup the other day in a court in Cambridge, and a kid on the other team said, "Who's covering the old guy?" And I'm looking around like, who are they talking about? And somebody on my team said, well, that would be you that they're talking about. And I think it surprised me because none of the students at CHCH ever made me feel like the old guy. They allowed me to preserve the illusion, the deception that I was somehow kind of a young guy. So I really appreciate that. And you were nothing but respectful the whole time that I was playing basketball with you. I also had the great pleasure of talking to about 12 CH students, seniors last week, and I want to share with you some of the things I heard. I asked what is distinctive about CHCH, and I heard that CH teaches you to embrace people and it is about humanity and love. I heard that students and faculty are a big happy family and that students become your brothers and your sisters. I was told something rare and wonderful indeed, that this school is diverse in every sense and it doesn't require students to twist themselves into some unhappy shape to fit a norm. That it deeply honors difference and lets students be, quote, who they are. Finally, there seemed to be consensus that CHCH has unique ground vehicles. I think I saw unique ground vehicles. I have been to many schools, but I have never heard anyone talk about the unique ground vehicle. I have also very rarely heard students talk about their school with such appreciation and even love. Lance asked me not to batter you with commencement cliches and to talk about our work in college admissions, and I've been doing work to reform the values in college admissions over the last several years. But I want to broaden it some. I want to talk to you about how I think we should measure and value both others and ourselves in this life. And I want to briefly share some thoughts about freedom, a word I think we often misunderstand, and talk to you about what meaningful freedom looks like, including the freedom to choose what we value about other people and ourselves. Let me start with college admissions and what I think are some very wrong-headed messages about what colleges are asking students to value. For many high school students, the college admissions process is the only rite of passage in adolescence. And it's the only time when colleges, and to a certain extent the entire adult world, are sending very strong, explicit signals to young people about what society values. And collectively, colleges are sending strong signals that they value high SAT scores and strong grades. They signal that they value the quantity of your achievements, long brag sheets, how many AP courses you take, and how many extracurricular activities you rack up. They are sending a powerful message that they highly value athletic excellence. Many colleges are also very explicitly conveying that they value high-profile community service and leadership. There is, in fact, a community service Olympics going on in some communities about who can have the most high-profile community service. I was at a school the other day where parents had founded for their kid a school in Botswana so she could say on her college application for community service that she started a school in Botswana. And this set off a little competition. Another parent brought their kid to school in an AIDS clinic in Guam. So there's like craziness that is going on around this. Many colleges certainly also value whether you're a contributing member of your community and whether you're an interesting person. But far too often, these characteristics are secondary or marginal. Right now, the students who tend to get a leg up in admissions and letters of interest and support in the application process in the 10th and 11th grade are not the students who are caring and courageous day to day. They are primarily strong athletes and students who do well on the PSAT. I ask you to pause and to think about this. Are these really the messages that colleges should be sending about what's important to them and what's important to a successful life? I don't want to just slam the SAT. The SAT is a useful predictor of college success in some circumstances. The SAT is a very strong predictor of whether you will do well, for example. The math SAT, very strong predictor of whether you will do well at MIT. But it's no secret that there are huge numbers of students who don't do well on the SAT and have tremendous academic promise. The SAT is also stressful and stigmatizing for many, many students. The SAT score can stick in your head, and it can convey the false and damaging idea that it somehow represents your intelligence, which it certainly does not. Given its limitations and this stress and stigma, should it really be so central to the college admissions process? How many of you would be happy if we just chucked the SAT, just get rid of the SAT? And think about the messages it sends when academic and athletic achievement are given far more weight than what Martin Luther King described as the content of a person's character, the capacity for humanity and kindness and love, the values that are at the heart of this school. Why should 10th graders who are great athletes and excel on the PSAT get letters of interest and support, but not students who are great people? Students who contribute in many ways to their community, who make an effort to look out for a new student, who help out a student who is struggling academically, who stand up to cruelty in its many forms. And think about how unfair the college admissions process is for many students. There are lots of high school students out there who are working at McDonald's 20 hours a week, or working on a family farm 20 hours a week, or they're taking care of a sick relative for 15 hours a week, or they're supervising a younger sibling. And these students are getting to school and they're getting B's and C's. And think about how impressive it is that these kids are able to pull off those grades, given their service to their families day to day. But their service doesn't count in the college admissions process, and the service of a student who goes to Belize to paint a house does count. And their grades and SAT scores often aren't good enough to admit them to many selective colleges. We really want a college admission system that fails to recognize and support these young people. That's why I've been working to reform college admissions. Last year we came out with a report that has now been endorsed by over 170 colleges. The report is trying to change the messages, the signals. We're working with colleges to consider making the SAT optional and to discourage students from overloading on AP courses and extracurricular activities. We're trying to redefine service so that it honors the strengths of students who make contributions day to day to their schools and their families and their communities. But whether or not we are able to change college admissions, there's a more important reality here. And that reality is that throughout your life, you are likely to deal with institutions and signals that send the wrong values and measure you the wrong way. Institutions that may label you narrowly or be blind to your many strengths. And I want to suggest to you that in the face of this reality, You have the freedom to choose. We talk a lot about freedom in this country, but we don't seem to talk much about some very important kinds of freedom. The writer David Foster Wallace, in another commencement speech, talked about this. We all have the freedom, Wallace said, to be lords of our tiny skull-sized kingdoms, alone at the center of all creation. But the kind of freedom, according to Wallace, that, quote, is most precious, you will not hear much talk about in the great outside world of wanting and achieving. The really important kind of freedom involves attention and awareness and discipline and being able truly to care about other people and to sacrifice for them over and over in myriad petty, unsexy ways every day. In the face of a world that will too often provide you with false measures of how you should measure yourself, I agree with David Foster Wallace that it's vital to exercise your freedom to choose and that you should measure yourself by your choices. I also agree that the most important choices and measures don't involve status or money or anything to do with scores on tests. Like David Foster Wallace, I hope you will choose to care and to sacrifice. I hope you will choose to be generous and to listen deeply, including listening to those who are very different from you and may be irritating and alien to you. I hope you will choose to be grateful, including grateful that you are among a small fraction of American teenagers that get to go to a wonderful high school like this, and grateful that you're among the relatively small fraction of students, only about 1 in 3, that are going to go to a 4-year college and complete it. I hope you will choose to work hard because of the great gratifications that can come from developing deep knowledge and skills in a field that you love. And I hope you will exercise the freedom to be decent and to measure yourself by your decency and courage during this difficult political time. This time when we are bitterly divided and fragmented as a country. There are people in this country under serious threat. Immigrants have been demonized, low-income people are losing basic supports, and I think we are all called by this time. We are called to exercise the freedom to expand who we stand with and what we stand for. At the same time, though, I hope you exercise during this time another kind of freedom. The freedom to not demonize those who don't share your political views. To understand that those who voted for another candidate than the one you support are by and large decent, complex people who may prioritize different values than you and have different concerns than you, but are very much part of the same flawed human community as you or me. So let me say again, thank you for this wonderful honor and a giant congratulations to you. I can't remember a single thing about my high school commencement speech. I can't find anybody who remembers a single thing about their high school commencement speech. But I hope that you will please remember to keep exercising, and I emphasize keep exercising, the freedom that David Foster Wallace describes. The freedom to care and focus and sacrifice and deeply attend. That kind of freedom is what should be far more valued in college admissions. That kind of freedom is at the core of an ethical life. That kind of freedom can be a constant source of gratification and protect you from all the false labels and messages about what is worthy and what is valuable. That kind of freedom is at the core of love in every meaningful sense of the word. And that kind of freedom is the best way I know to spend your one breathtaking time on this earth. Thank you very much.
Arriving in the suburbs of Boston after a childhood spent in Brooklyn, Lily Antonez was a bit apprehensive about our small community. Soon we learned that when Lily is unsure of something, Her approach is to learn everything she can about it in order to make up her mind. Lily studied soccer, dorm life, the dining hall, and her small discussion-based classes. Her conclusion? She loves it all. Lily thrived in each situation. She built the foundations of relationships with her peers that would grow and develop over time. She mastered material in the classroom and impressed her coaches with her diligence and effort on the fields. Her willingness to try something new turned into an eagerness to build competency and contribute to the success of others around her. Lily is a wonderful mosaic of a student. She's made up of distinctly different interests and talents fused together to create a whole picture that is colorful, vibrant, interesting, and engaging from any perspective. Please welcome the fascinating and the fantastic Lily Antonis.
When I was told I was going to be salutatorian, my biggest concern was making a speech in front of my peers and their families. I reflected on my 4 years here, with all of you by my side, and asked several of you what you would want to hear from me, because this is our graduation. A lot of you said something funny, meaningful, and most importantly, memorable. So I thought, what made my 4 years here memorable to me? What made these 4 years so colorful? And the answer was all of you. All 43 of the graduating class that sit before me today. Your quirks, personalities, and passions are what made these 4 years worth it. Now, knowing how way leads on to way, I thought it may help us, as we go our separate ways, to have a reminder of some of our best parts and how they come together to make this beautifully diverse whole. A recipe of sorts. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Grease 2 17-inch round cake pans. In a large bowl, mix together the dry ingredients. 2 tablespoons sarcasm from Aang and Sam Geese, with a pinch of Andre's satire. In a separate bowl, mix the wet ingredients together. A teaspoon of Aaron's empathy, a cup of sweetness from Ray, Carl O, and Eric. Combine and stir. While doing so, carefully add in a stick of artistry from Maddie and Christine for that extra pop. Whisk in equal parts of passion from Carl R., Remy, Alex Aru, Gordon, and Jared. Passion for politics and poetry, for animals and rowing, for reenactment. Once well combined, simultaneously mix a cup of silliness from Mark, Donna, Jimmy, and Obi, and a cup of poise from Jeff and Tinian for balance, so our mixture isn't too flat or too inflated. Fold in Joseph, Revy, and Lizzie's self-assuredness, the fearlessness and fighting spirit of Clea and Alex Loria, Jackie and Gwen's dependability, and a pinch of positivity from Stephanie to thicken the batter. Add a handful of Kelly's Enigma, which will temper the batter sweetness. Then add in a teaspoon of nurturing from Savannah, a teaspoon of loyalty from Genesis, and a teaspoon of reliability from Ryan. Our final step is the rising agent. 2 tablespoons of growth from Alex Miller and George over their 4 years here. Spoon the batter into our prepared pans and bake for 30 to 40 minutes. For the icing, begin with a cup of inclusiveness from Maria and Kyle. Whisk in a cup of confidence from Izzy and Nira, both in competitive spirit and sheer volume. To balance out that volume, add a sprinkle of Eleanor's calm and quiet. Set aside Joe's punctuality and instead opt for his sense of comedic timing. Combine these ingredients together and then add a 4th cup inspiration from Jake. Once the cakes are baked and cool, remove from their pans. Spoon the icing atop one and gently set the second upon it. Finally, if you find that your cake is lacking a certain something, at the last, add a dash of Sambazam. Now that our cake is complete, icing and all, we have the class of 2017. This cake has a flavor like no other because of our unique ingredients, a concoction of wonderful traits that make up our small but mighty class. Each of you has something that makes you, you, and I hope that you never forget that. Play upon your strengths and never give up on who you truly are. Borrow the best from your classmates and better yourselves. This is going to sound a bit saccharine, so brace yourselves, but you're all very special, and this class will always hold a place in my heart. Thank you all for everything you've taught me over these past 4 years. We are the class of 2017, making our big exit. Thank you.
Tianyan Yu joined our community in 10th grade and seamlessly embraced our approach to learning, pushing herself to explore her own interests and aptitudes. She is warm, engaging, and genuinely curious both intellectually and culturally. One of Tianyan's most impressive qualities is this desire to explore, to take risks, for the sake of growth. Tianyan values the experience of learning, following new paths to see where they lead, making connections across disciplines, and finding joy in her discoveries. She is confident, but always leaves room to embrace new ideas and tools to add to her kit. Tianyan has excelled in this environment, mastering content and becoming a force to reckon with in class discussions and debates. Her peers look up to her not only as a model student, but also as a trustworthy, loyal, and supportive friend. Please welcome the curious and courageous Tianyan Yu.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, students and teachers, friends, families, and all of you guys, class of 2017, the best class ever. I'm truly humbled on this very special and exciting day to be able to speak to you all. You know, it was only a short 3 or 4 years ago that we set foot onto this campus. We were once the timid and young freshmen and sophomores searching for classrooms, complaining about the walk all the way over to Atwood, and going to first lunch when we actually should have gone to class. Oh, I have done that so many times. We didn't know what we were in for. We didn't know what a CIP was. We didn't know that the #1 rule in winter is to stay off the ice. We didn't know that Mr. Cook could come up with exams that are literally 5 hours long. We didn't know that the school teaches the way students learn. We didn't know any of these things back then. But I'm pretty sure we've all learned it by heart now. It is amazing to see that we've changed, and we've all changed together. Together, we learned how to advocate for ourselves. We learned to become more independent thinkers. We learned to love and care. Sorry, I lost my line. It's hilarious. And how can the world not envy us? Not for what we have, but for what we have experienced here, for all that we found here at Chapel Hill. Yes, we were once afflicted and overwhelmed by the finals and SATs. But hey, look, we've all been through. We've all made it through. And I say we are lucky for this endless opportunities we found here and the learning environment. We are lucky because our whole life up to this point had been fairly organized into years of studies leading up to the next. Our goals and paths clearly set and defined. But today, as we graduate from CHCH, we face a new chapter that is full of potential, a life that is ours. Today is the day that marks our independence. It's the day that we carry our own unique selves out into the bigger world. It's the day that we make decisions that will steer the course of our lives. And isn't it awesome? Because sorry, moms and dads, you don't get to make our decision anymore. But we'll try to pretend to listen sometimes. We promise. So friends, I hope that at this point you're filled with hope and excitement. But let's not forget the passion we are feeling right now. Let's not fall into complacency. Let's continue pursuing those dreams and passions. Keep grasping every opportunities we meet. And move one step nearer to our dreams. Dreams that we must strive toward each day. And how each of us defines success is different. And how our dreams change and grow is natural. If we do not succeed immediately, it is no matter. We only fail when we choose to let failure defeat us. We should strive to look back in 5, 10, or 20 years without much regret. And when I say this, I mean we should relentlessly pursue our dreams, and we should not let any moments and any people pass us by. Today will be gone in memory just as fast as that distant, intimidating first day of school. So, my fellow graduates, look around you and take a moment to recall everything and everyone that has guided us to this moment. And remember them, cherish them, hold on to the people and experiences that has brought us here. Carry them with you wherever life leads. Ahead of us is a new life, so let's live it to the fullest. And at last, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the very, very best. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming members of the Chapel Hill-Chauncy Hall Vocal Ensemble to the dais.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. Trouble, it might drag you down. You get lost, you can't always be found. Just know you're not alone. I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. Trouble, it might drag you down. You get lost, you can't always be found. Just know you're not alone. So I'm gonna make this place your home. Ah. in minutes. 525,000 moments so dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife. In 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measuring love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love.
525,600 minutes. 525,000 journeys to land. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man? In truth that she learned, or times that he cried, in bridges he burned, or the way that she died. It's
Time now to sing out, the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember, here in the life of a friend. Love, remember love, measuring love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love. 525,600 minutes. 525,000 months so dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, in laughter, in strife. In 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? Love, measuring love.
Mr. B.J. Rudman, Chair of the Board of Trustees, will now present the diplomas to the members of the class of 2017. I would also like to invite the Vice Chair of the Chapel Hill-Chauncy Hall Alumni Council and member of the class of 2010, Sean Mulvihill, to join us on the dais for the presentation of Alumni Society membership certificates. As Mr. Mulvihill approaches, please allow me to also introduce our program directors, Ben Riggs and Kelly Walsh, as well as our assistant head of school, Josh Bubar. Last evening, during our baccalaureate ceremony, Mr. Bubar was recognized by his peers and granted membership to the Chapel Hill-Chauncy Hall Society, awarded to one member of the faculty and staff each year in recognition of devoted service and extraordinary dedication to the students and mission of the school. Congratulations and a community of thanks, Mr. Bubaugh. As members of the class of 2017 come forward to accept their diplomas, you will notice that 12 seniors are wearing gold cords that represent their acceptance into the National Honor Society. The 26 students who are wearing blue and white cords are being recognized as our four-year seniors of Chapel Hill-Chauncy Hall School. We now invite each of our graduates to come forward as his or her name is called. Andre Mason Amazine. Lily Maite Antonez. Mark Block. Nira Bullis. Sung Soo Che. Manyan Chang. Eric Colbert. Madison Coleman. Genesis Victoria Crew. Ryan Robinson Donovan. Jake Ryan Duggan. Clea Mari Edelman. Ray Henley Erdos Steinberg. Christian Fiore. Samuel Keese. Kyle Rodriguez Gomes. Zi Yen Guo. Gordon Benjamin Levine. Alexandra Leroux. Joseph Raymond Tedeschi Ladano. Na Lo. Erin Elizabeth Looney. Alexandra Loria. Alexander Miller. Rebecca Minoli. Nguyen Le Phuong Ang. Carl Barger Overbrunner. Sin Yui Pan. Jeffrey Thomas Kushak. Oria Claire Rodney. Elizabeth Rosenfeld Mahoney.